Welcome to Stephen King Saturday. So let's get this shit over with. Lawnmower Man 2, Jobe's War, aka Beyond Cyberspace. Jesus Christ. Alright, so this is a very interesting sequel. I know. For anyone who did not watch my Lawnmower Man review, I know that Stephen King had his name removed from it. So this is like far removed. This has nothing to do with Stephen King. But because the first one is, and this is a sequel, even though that really isn't technically Stephen King, I'm doing it anyways, just for fun. Funny story, I bought Lawnmower Man 1 and Lawnmower Man 2 for these reviews. And when they got here, I went to put them away. And I realized that I'd already owned Lawnmower Man 2, that I bought it for 99 cents somewhere, which is more than I should have paid for it, I guess. And so I currently possess 2 copies of Lawnmower Man 2 Jobe's War. Fuck my life. I completely forgot I owned that thing. Good thing is I only paid 99 cents for the first one, and I don't think I paid anything for the second one because it was like a eBay buy 2 get 1 free, and it was the free one. So I've only paid $1 for both copies, still overpaid. Anyway, alright, so what's weird about this sequel to me is a few things. Number one, I feel like the sequel almost kind of gets what it needs to do, right? Because like in the first one, it ends with, and I'm going to say this outright, like if anyone is coming to this review, or almost any of my reviews for like an explained thing, that ain't my channel, okay? I don't do explained videos. I'm just as confused as you are about half of these fucking films. Like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on in this movie. Like, this is one of those movies that's so bizarre and so stupid that you check out after a while. Like, I couldn't pay attention to some of the dialogue after a while. I was just like, oh my God, what's happening? And I'm really trying. You know how many times it took me to get through this movie? Like, I watched this weeks ago now. Weeks ago. So already I was confused then. We'll see how it holds up memory-wise now. But it took me like a week to get through this. And I watched it, it was like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. So already it's very confusing watching a movie like that. Then remove yourself from it for weeks. Ooh man, I'm as confused, or if not more confused, than anyone who just watched this and is looking for an explanation. I don't have one. I don't know. The things that I can say is that the movie kind of understands to some degree what this should be. So what this movie should be, I tell you that this is the most important thing to me. What this movie should be is Jobe has entered virtual reality, right? He's entered cyberspace. And this is beyond cyberspace. So this would make sense that he now is pure energy as he wants to become. My allergies are fucking killing me. So I apologize for any nose shit I have going on in this. Anyways, what it should be is that Jobe has entered cyberspace and he is now controlling things kind of under the guise of something. Whether it's like, he starts tanking the stock markets, he starts fucking with the world, right? And then we kind of fast forward to this future where he is kind of in control of everything. And, he's basically like a god at this point because he's in control of our computer systems and can manipulate it. And he's doing it, at first kind of not with anyone knowing what's happening, and then he starts to show himself a little bit, like taking over and being like, I am your god now, basically. And he gets himself in control of nuclear weapons, and he gets himself in control of all of these things that humans really are kind of at his mercy. Like, if you try to touch any of these computers, if you try to disable anything, I'll start sending the nukes out. Right? And so basically everyone's just kind of a slave to him, and he thinks that he's some, dictator that knows what's best for everybody, and he makes them live in this, Brave New World type of place where, you know, these things are banned and this is outlawed and that humans can't be in control of themselves because look what happens when humans are in control of themselves. You know, that's the kind of movie that this should have been. And what they went for whatever the fuck reason, is they gave Jobe a body again. Why? When he's trying to get out of it in the end of the movie, and successfully does, and says like, oh, I'm going to do a phone call, and I'm going to be taking over your internet, and this and that. And in this movie, like, he's already there. He's already transcended. In this one, he needs some fucking chip, and there's something about Egypt or something. And what is this whole bullshit here? What it should be is it should be Pierce Brosnan's character trying to take down what he created, the monster he's created. He's older now. You can cast some older man. Jeff Fahey's character, you know, the Lawnmower man, Jobe, he doesn't ever have to be seen in a physical form, so you don't need to recast him. You can just have him be whatever image you want him to be in virtual reality. He can be some god figure, whatever. Why cast Matt Frewer, whatever how you say this guy's name, who I've known from tons and tons and tons of things. I've seen him in tons of shit. And he does his like best Riddler impression, like Jim Carrey's Riddler in this. He's wild. But why? What do we need this for? If we're coming off of the first film, we know that and they just say like, oh, we gave him like facial reconstructive surgery, like anybody gives a shit like that. It's not Jeff Fahey in this low budget sequel. Like, I don't care that it's not the same actor. If you want to bring back a different actor, just say it's a different actor. You have to say, oh, well, we pulled him out. That building blew the fuck up, okay? There's nothing left of Joe. There's nothing left. And the fact that he's like, and if you are going to go down that route, just have him have a burned face, right? Have him look like, you know, freaking Freddy Krueger. Make him totally a monster, and then in virtual reality, he makes himself beautiful, right? Like he makes it like he's like, I'm stuck in this physical form, and they pulled me out of it. If you're going to go that route, but there's no point to go that route. He's already pure energy, and he should be controlling everything. And the movie should be people going into cyberspace to try to talk reason into him. And the character of the kid from the first movie, I'm fine with him being in here because they had a bond, right? But it shouldn't be the same actor, because this is the future, which looks like it's fucking 50 to 100 years in the future, and the kid is only a year older than he was in the first fucking movie. What is this? What is this? This is like Alexandra Daddario's character in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, or Texas Chainsaw 3D, where she was born in the 1970s, and it's 2000 and fucking like 17, 15, whatever the hell. She's like 45 years old, and she looks 20 because she fucking is 20. Like, such a weird choice to bring back this kid when it's the future, but they're like, oh, well, he's the actor who will reprise his role. He's not the actor to get to reprise his role because he's a fucking child, and you're going into the future, and the kid's the same fucking age as he was in the last movie. It makes no sense. All the choices here are just asinine. And I read in the trivia that the director was locked out of the editing room. I get why. Like, oh, he's like pissed off he didn't get to put his vision. Whatever the fuck vision he had, I don't care what it is, it did not work. I don't care how you edit this movie, it's not going to work. Right? So, this movie is a failure on so many levels, but just on a basic plot of a sequel, they kind of just like almost disregard a lot of what's set up in it. And what is annoying to me about it is that a lot of it is like T-ball, lobbed baseball type shit, where it's like, these are easy hits. Like, everything from there is like a fastball. But like what I just said, all of the obvious things, these are all T-balls to me. This is all just like, everything's set up for you. So that's easy shit. Jobe's in hyper. I want to keep saying hyperspace. Joe's in cyberspace. Take it from there. Have him be this pure energy monster that people have to go into virtual reality to confront, and they bring the kid. So Pierce Brosnan's character, fine, he dies, whatever, Jobe goes after him, he dies in the beginning of the movie, right? He kills him because he created him and he's still mad at him. So he kills him through technology of some sort. Cool. Then you have the kid who comes in who he had a bonding thing with, and he's older now. He's like in his 60s or something. And he goes in, and you could even have that kid reprise his role in the virtual reality. He's seen as the kid in the form he knows him as, right? So that's how you get that actor back, is you have him in virtual reality and he can look however the fuck he wants to look. So you have a 60-year-old actor play him in real life, and then in the virtual reality you can continue to use that actor, but he's just taking on that form to connect with Jobe because Jobe knows him. Like, these are such easy fucking things, man. I didn't think of any of this until I pressed record. Right? So that's what pisses me off, is if I can come up with a better plot in 2 minutes off the top of my fucking head, because so many things were softballed, so many things were t-balled to me. It just angers me that they have to blow it so out of proportion. I just don't get it. I don't get the intention with this film at all. They made it more complicated than it fucking needs to be. That's really mostly what I want to say about this movie. I mean, I'll go through my notes really quick, but it's really more of just like, they kind of got it, like it's in the future, and Jobe's going to take over, and this, and no. The future should be Jobe has already taken over, and they're fighting against what has happened, right? Like, Jobe is still kind of vying to take over. He's trying to get this chip and all that. No, he's already fucking in there. He should be a god. He should have already taken over. He shouldn't be regressed. He shouldn't have challenges to get to that status again. That's what the first movie was. Like, he's already there, so then extrapolate from there. Take it from there. You guys, you shot yourself in the foot to go backwards to start over. It doesn't make any fucking sense, man. This kind of shit pisses me off. This is a PG-13 movie, off to a bad start right there. This should be R, for sure. Jobe's body survived and had we already talked about that. Just dreadful. Box format opening. It's like a 4:3 opening, but like real squared down, and then like for the footage from the old movie, and then it goes to like this widescreen presentation. No fucking clue. Jobe is without his legs, so I guess the fire burned his legs up, but everything else is totally fine. So I guess his legs are super flammable. I don't get that one. And yeah, Peter is only 4 years older, but the world is drastically different. Yes, the actor is only 4 years older, but this is supposed to be the distant future. I don't get at all. The transportation, cars and everything that they have on the street, I like that stuff. I think that's cool. It reminds me of like a Total Recall or any of those like science fiction movies from the 90s. I like that stuff. It's cool. I like the designs there. I think that's fun. And I think the people who were on the sets were making those, and I think they had a good time doing it. The kids have a VR addiction. They're literally like committing crimes to pay for their VR addiction. This might be the truth in the future. I don't know. And the kids get stuck in the Matrix, basically. They're stuck in there. And the fucking dog. The dog is the funniest scene in the movie. The dog, they're like calling to him. He's watching. He's like the Barbara Gordon. He's like fucking. He's watching over on the computer monitor, and they're like yelling at him like, "Hey, put the disc in for the what is it? The hyper. What was it? The bikes. Cybercycle. The Cybercycle. Put in the Cybercycle disc." And the dog's like, "Oh," and he like goes down. He grabs it with his mouth, which he'd get his tongue all over it, and it would completely corrupt the disc because it would be wet and whatever, but whatever. He puts it in the thing, and then there's a shot of him putting his paw and pushing it in. This is the kind of shit that kills me. Like, this is one of the reasons why I can get through and enjoy kids movies with my kids, especially into like the fucking like Beverly Hills Chihuahua or the Pup All-Star things, or the Santa Buddies, the Buddy movies, the Air Bud movies. Like, my kids will watch those, and I'll sit down and watch them with me, and it's that kind of stuff that gets me through them, and I laugh horribly, like so hard. And I actually put a clip from one in one of my Howling reviews of the high four, give me some paw. I'm sure if you watch that video, you're familiar with it because I put it in the video a few times. I want to say it's in the original Nightmare Howling, but whatever. It's just so funny to me. Anytime they put like a fake dog arm and it's doing something and it's all you can see is the fake dog arm and it's supposed to be a real dog arm, it murders me every time. I don't know what it is about that. It's always been funny to me. So anytime you put a fake dog arm in a movie and it's doing something that it shouldn't be doing, like something like a human task, it kills me. It's so funny. I recorded that, like I filmed it with my fucking phone and I sent it to like everyone I knew and I was just laughing hysterically in the background. So at least I got that out of this. And Peter is totally happy to see Jobe in this. What? Really? I thought you were like mad at him for killing your dad and all this shit. Like, this doesn't line up to me at all. We got the Griffith Observatory here from, Rebel Without a Cause, but it's more La La Land for me now. But like, just think about that history now. Like, like I've been there. I've been to the observatory. It's a really cool place. It's a great place to film, and it's like it's so funny to me that it was like the whole front of the building, like shut the whole area down, had like all these like Humvees and everything in front of it to make it look all like Escape from New York, like not inside New York but outside of New York when they're they got the barricades and everything. It looked like that. But it was just funny to think about like someone who works there and is like, oh, we've had all these classic movies filmed here, from Rebel Without a Cause to La La Land to Lawnmower Man 2. Anyways, moving on. Like, just the pedigree dips a little bit when it gets to this movie. And they're basically in this movie making an oasis, or they've made an oasis, like from Ready Player One. This is like what they were wanting this to be Ready Player One without the special effects or the talent. I fucking love Ready Player One, and I do believe that will be the future eventually. I do believe that most people will be living in VR. You can quote me on that, and I don't have a lot of time to talk about that, but I could go on for an hour about that. I have in other videos, so if you watch my channel enough, you've heard me talk about it at nauseum, or ad nauseum, should I say. And Dr. Trace is like the hero guy here who lives like a nomad, but he was like, some big tech guy forever. This guy's character is so lame. And you can actually feel while inside VR in this one, which of course is the next stage. We got to get movement first with these omnidirectional treadmills, which are starting to kind of become a thing. And then feeling. That whole bodysuit that he wears in Ready Player One, and you can feel the touch of everybody. Yeah, we get that shit, man, and people can start having sex inside VR and look however they want and never... But as I said before, there's so many things I can say about it. Educational, everything. The applications are limitless, honestly, with VR, and I will think AR and VR will be an enormous part of the future, and people will be fighting over whether or not that's reality, and they'll be fighting over their beliefs towards it. You'll see. And we've got the let's see, he sends a train at them on the tracks. Kind of reminds me of the Bond movie Spectre, when Javier Bardem's character sends a fucking train at Bond and like breaks through the floor at him. That's a crazy weapon to use. It's just like a commuter track train like coming at somebody, using everyone on board as cannon fodder in your scheme. It's fucked. It's evil for sure. And yeah, I like how what's his name? Dr. Trey stays behind on the computer to be like the hero, to like put the train on the right tracks. And the children who are fit and young are like running through the tracks for a while. and then he stays behind for a while to like try to get this on track. And then he just leaves right after he does that, and like 2 seconds later, he's caught up with them. How the fuck did he catch up with those kids who are running? If they're running throughout the whole system, and he just catches up with them, no problem. And they know that system. That's where they live. They're like the Ninja Turtles. This is like the first time this guy's ever been down there, and he finds them, no problem. They're like right in front of him. So stupid. So stupid. One kid won't leave. They won't leave the dog as the tunnels explode. I'm with them 100% on this. You do not leave the dog behind. So I like to see that. Yeah. So Jobe wants everyone to be in virtual reality. He starts bankrupting people, which is what should have already have taken place, or at least we should see that throughout the film. In the opening of him just like taking down banks and being like, in the 20th century, a doctor worked on this guy, whatever. I could write better dialogue. Paraphrasing. Oh, dude, when this guy tries to break down like a thick metal door with this flimsy chair and he barely hits it, it's so funny to me. I'm like, that was your attempt to open that door, really? And then they have this sword fight, which he beats him so easily with. It's really funny. They mention Egypt a fuck ton in here, which is some like, I don't even know what it is. It's some program or something. I don't know. They said it so many times, and I was always like, I must have missed what this was, and I honestly don't care to rewind it. He calls him just a lawnmower man. Ooh, what a terrible dick. Yeah, Jobe grabs leg of other baddie. Somehow he doesn't shoot. Terrible plan. They do say he's regressing. Yeah, I remember this sort of, like, there's like henchmen or whatever, and there's like a guy with a gun. I don't even think it's a henchman. I think it's the main guy. Yeah, that's what it is. The main bad guy is like pointing a gun, and Jobe just like grabs his leg lightly, and the guy's like, oh no, and he drops and he falls. What? This is terrible. If you've ever seen this clip, this was many, many years ago when I was actually a WWF fan. There's a scene where a match where Steve Austin like broke his fucking neck, but he was supposed to win the bout, right? He was supposed to win the match. And so, like, Austin gets his neck crumpled and he is fucked. He can't even move. And you can see the other guy who did it to him, like, freaked out and was like, And he, like, threw himself under Steve Austin's arm, and Austin kind of just, the guy, like, took his arm and, like, put it over him. And then the referee just came in and was like, 1, 2, 3. And then they all, like, it cut to commercial. Because he was supposed to win it, but he was too fucked up to move. It was really, really fucked up because he really did get super hurt. But it felt like that. It was just so lazy, and his like bad guy being like, oh no, he's got me. It was really funny. Jobe gets a happy ending and is like totally part of the family. And he's like, let's go home now. What? After everything Jobe did? Like, I get it. Jobe is a sympathetic character in the first movie, but he's like a total raging psychopath in this, and is like trying to burn the world down. And they're just like totally forgiving of him. He's like in a wheelchair. He looks like Cancer Boy from fucking The Kids in the Hall. And he's just like, oh, I'm part of the family now. And they're like, oh, let's all go home. What? He should have died in the program 100%. Or at least they could have like played on this like, you're a victim. And he's like, and that's how they break him out of it. And then they like bring him back to his old self. And then, then we play with that whole like, this wasn't you, this was who they created. That I'd be fine with. But the way they play it out, no. Absolutely not. Maybe that's what was lost in the editing, but who knows. And the music in this movie sounds a lot like Jurassic Park. I don't know if that's on purpose, but that's what reminded me of it. Yeah, and then I just put other stuff that I already mentioned here. Anyways, I probably already talked about this movie too long. No one has seen this movie, and the people who have probably already forgotten about it. But yeah, what do you guys think about my take on what this movie should have been? I could have written this movie 1,000 fucking times better. It would have been super interesting and kind of like The Matrix meets, you know, A Brave New World or Equilibrium or any of those like dystopian futures where people have had all their choices taken from them because, you know, we're not, you know, allowed to know what the old world was because we're detriment to ourselves. Any of that kind of shit. And with this like dictator, you know, authoritarian type autocratic figure that's at the head of it, but except for everyone doesn't know he isn't real, maybe even. Like they all just fear him and he's like locked himself in a room and he's never come out, and then they find out like he's not even a real person. Like you could play with this so easily. And what did they go for? Who the fuck knows? But you have a dog putting a disc in the player with his hand, and it's hilarious. So, anyways, I'll probably include that clip because it's amazing. But that's the only clip. Enjoy if I put it in here. I probably will. Adios.
Who's doing this? Sean, the Cyberspace.
Yeah. Harvey, put in the Cybercycle disc. Harvey, can you hear me? Put in the Cybercycle disc now!